Okay. Okay, say we have let f of x equals 2 of x, 2 times x squared minus 10x plus 1 over x. Okay, so evaluating functions just means that we're going to be plugging in pretty much. All right, so we're going to find f of -1. Now, anytime I do this, I'm not sure how you learned it, in geometry and algebra 2, or even in 8th grade. I use parentheses to plug in. Okay, and you'll see it's going to help us. I think it's going to help us at least a lot when we get to more complex things. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, right? I mean, if you have a calculator with you, go ahead and punch it in. Just be careful with your signs. Okay, and again, parentheses will help. So we're going to have 2 times -1 squared minus 10 times -1 plus 1 over -1. And right, so when we evaluate functions, anything that we see replace that x, right, that's what we're plugging in for x. Okay, so now we just go ahead and we, PEMDAS and basic algebra stuff. -1 squared. All right, so I'm going to do it step by step here. Okay, if you feel comfortable, you can, skip a few steps. But -1 squared is 1. Okay, -10 times -1, that becomes +10. 1 divided by -1, that's -1. All right. And now we can simplify further. That's just going to be 2 plus 10 minus 1. Now be careful. When you have something like this, right, where it's addition and subtraction, always move left to right. Okay? So you're going to do 2 plus 10. That's 12. 12 minus 1 is 11. Right? So that's how we evaluate a function. Hopefully, you're pretty comfortable with this. Okay? If you feel like you need, more practice, let me know in an email. Say, hey, Mr. Murray, I kind of struggled with this in Algebra 2 or whatever last year. All right, so I'd like some more practice. I don't want to spend too much time on this basic stuff because there's more difficult stuff that we have to move to. Okay, so any questions so far? Okay, so another way we can evaluate functions is if we look at graphs, right? Make this full screen, okay? So here, I don't know exactly what the function is, right? But when I have something like this is telling me pretty much where to look, right? And we're looking for the y value that it's equal to. So here I have f of 4, right? So again, I have nothing to plug it into, but we go over to x equals 4, right? So you come over this way, and then you go either up or down, depending on where the graph is, right? You keep, in this case, we go up until we see where it crosses. Now, it looks like it might cross down here, but we'll pick this nice even number here, right? So our output, our y, would be 3, right? Okay. Do we have any questions about using the graph?
No.
All right, so looking at this one, type in the chat what you think f of -4 would be. Good, yeah, all right. So you go over to -4, and then you go down to 3. I'm sorry, yeah, down to 3, so that would be, right, correct, -3. Good. Okay. So what we're going to have to do, what we'll see at the end of this year, okay, and when you guys are in AP Calculus, is something a little different. All right, let me pick a slightly easier function, and we'll take a look at okay. All right, let's do something simple. Let f of x equal x squared minus 1. All right, so it's pretty simple. Whatever number you have, you square it, it'll turn positive. You subtract 1 from it. Okay. Well, what happens if I plug in something like this? Okay, I want you to find f of h plus 2. All right, well, we're going to do the same thing that we did up here, right? Anywhere, what this is telling me is anywhere that I see an x, now instead of just replacing it with a number, I'm going to replace it with the expression h plus 2. All right, so again, I'm going to use my parentheses. So there's an x, so I replace that x with, h plus 2, right? That was squared, and then I have minus 1. Right, now we want to make this look a little nicer. So I'm going to have to FOIL, okay, be careful. This isn't just going to be h squared plus 4, right? This is going to be h plus 2 times h plus 2 minus 1, okay? I'm going to skip a step. I'm going to go right to, okay, so when we FOIL this, right, h times h is h squared. We have an h, a 2h when we do the outer. We have a 2h when we do the inner. That gives me the 4h. 2 times 2 gets me the 4, okay? Anything we didn't use, we bring down, and then we just do one more step of simplification. All right, nothing to combine the h2 with, h squared, that stays 4 to the h. 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so here I have f of h plus 2 is h squared plus 4h plus 3. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, so I'm going to give you guys one problem to work out now. I want you to try it on your own for a little bit. Okay, let f of x equal x squared plus x. I want you to find b minus 1. All right, so it is 10:53. I'll give you guys till about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, so like 10:55, a little after. All right. If you think you get the answer, you can type it into the chat. And then with the last 5 minutes, we'll go over it. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. All right, we got one answer. We'll see. Got another minute. You guys are close. Oh, be careful. Jacqueline should only have a b squared. I think I see. I know what you did. So yeah, be careful. That second one is plus x, not times x. I think you foiled 3 times there. Okay, so you guys are close. There we go. Good job, Sydney. All right. So, the first thing we're gonna do, okay, we're gonna plug in, right? All you're doing is substituting, right? B minus 1 into your function. So you have parentheses b minus 1 squared plus b minus 1. Now for the second one, you could drop the parentheses here, right, if you'd like to. There's nothing to distribute. This is a positive 1 out here, right? So that's going to stay b minus 1. Now here, okay, again, once you get comfortable with this stuff, I don't need to see every step, okay? But I want you guys to try to, write it out so it's easier to go back and see your mistakes. Okay, so b times b is b squared. Then you have a negative b and a negative b. That gets you negative 2b. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Okay, and we dropped the parentheses because we foiled. Here, all I did was I dropped the parentheses, right? And then all we do is combine like terms. B squared is by itself, so you have the b squared. Negative 2b plus, right? There's an invisible 1 here. Negative 2b plus 1b gets us negative 1b, or just minus b. And then just be careful. Positive 1 and negative 1, they eliminate each other. Okay. So notice, right, it looks very similar to our original, but now we just have a minus instead of a plus. Okay. All right. So any questions on this?